Hey everyone, Brittany here, in case you guys don't know my name from my previous videos. So I decided to make this video just kind of explaining what made me go vegan, how long I've been vegan, how it's going so far, just for, I don't know, anyone that's looking to possibly entertain the idea of shifting to a vegan lifestyle, people that maybe have doubts about it, or people that have tried it and failed, or just are curious in general. I'm no one special. I'm not like a professional athlete or anything. A little bit about me. I'm a mom of two. I'm 26 years old. I have a 4-year-old who will be 5 in November. I know, so sad. 5 in November, I can't believe that. But he'll be 5, and then I have a 6-month-old little boy too. So I'm a boy mom, and it's all I'm planning on having, just 2 boys. I love being a young mom. You know, my first one wasn't necessarily planned, but things happen, and I'm so grateful for him. He's changed my life in so many ways. But that's another video. I'm getting tearing up. I think it's my breastfeeding hormone. So I'm currently breastfeeding my 6-month-old. So for any of you moms out there who are breastfeeding or pregnant and are considering, you know, changing your diet and or lifestyle to a more of a vegan-centered, plant-based diet, obviously consult your doctor first. I'm not a doctor, so I can't give you advice on that, but I can tell you what's worked for me. And this is my 2nd time going vegan. I was vegan actually after my 4-year-old was born. About 6 months after he was born, I adopted a plant-based whole foods lifestyle. I did that because I was a victim. No, just kidding. I was someone who ended up watching Forks Over Knives on Netflix. So if you haven't seen that documentary, Forks Over Knives, great. Highly recommend it. It changed my life. Like, it changed a lot in how I view foods. So I watched that, and that was enough. That, like, hit home. I remember finishing that documentary with my husband, looking over and being like, I'm not eating meat again. Like, I'm done. Plant-based whole foods is my lifestyle. I'm doing it. Like, I don't know why I haven't done this before. I didn't know. I feel so guilty. Like, so I ended up adopting that lifestyle. And I was honestly on point, like perfect. Like, for about a year, a little over a year. I mean, I wasn't just vegan, because you can be an unhealthy vegan by living off potato chips if you really want. And technically Oreos are vegan, FYI. So I wasn't that type of vegan. I was plant-based, whole food centered. So no oils, like olive oil. I didn't even eat olive oil. Like, I was 100% whole foods, plant-based, raw, like just go hard, you know. And that was extremely challenging for me at the time. I think our lifestyle at the time, you know, we lived way out, and we had horse property because I grew up, you know, barrel racing and stuff with horses. So I wanted that for my kids. So at the time, we had land, we had horses, we had goats, we had chickens. It didn't really fit into that lifestyle. It was actually the complete opposite if you care about the earth. You know, the whole vegan idea of veganism is, you know, not to enslave animals, not to, you know, use them for production, not that they were just pets, but still, I was eating steak at rodeo grounds, you know, so it was a huge shift. Like, this is what I thought I wanted for my family, you know, my kids to grow up on a ranch style, like, environment, and befriend animals, but also know that animals are food. So it didn't fit anymore, and that was big, like, I think a big shift in my life. You know, it was something, I always liked country music, and like growing up, I had horses, and I always thought I was going to move to Texas, and like, I never had a problem with eating meat. I love meat. I mean, medium rare steak was where it's at, and for me at least. So I think it kind of hit me a little hard at that time. You know, it was a lot of change for me all at once, I think, and I kind of, one thing led to another. I champed through it. But then I ended up falling off the wagon somehow, which I can't honestly remember exactly what made me stop being so intensely vegan. But I ended up falling off the wagon for whatever reason, and for about 1.5 years or so, I kind of just experimented with different foods that made my body feel good or bad. I tried eating more of a whole foods based, but I still had the meat in, I still had the dairy occasionally, but I always knew it wasn't good for me. You know, I could feel a huge difference. Like, when I was vegan for that year, My hair grew like a weed. I had the longest hair. My skin was always clear. I felt so good all the time. Just super energized, and just my moods, I feel like, were always uplifting. Like, I mean, obviously I'm human and I had bad days, but it was weird how it affected my mood, you know, and that could have been like a placebo effect or whatever, but I felt like it was genuine. Like, my body, almost in lack of better terms, was detox, like, from all the crap in my body, and it felt amazing, and I always missed it, you know, like, I always knew that eventually I would probably return back to that, because that was the best I've ever felt in my life. And I've always been active, into fitness, done triathlons, rock climbing, jiu-jitsu, if anyone knows about martial arts, jiu-jitsu. My husband and I are very active together still to this day. So when I was pregnant with my son, my second son, that last half of the pregnancy, I decided, I don't know, I guess in the middle of my pregnancy, one day I was thinking and visualizing my son being born, and, you know, like, just thinking about all the milestones, you know, thinking about one day I was going to actually start feeding him, like, actual foods, and just thinking about my favorite age is, like, 4 to 6 months, when the little ones are, like, sitting up, and, like, their personalities start shining through a little bit, and they start getting interested with food. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking about what kind of foods I was going to feed him, because I've always been really into, like, obviously health and wellness. And when the thought crossed my mind about cutting up pieces of chicken for him, or giving him yogurt or cow's milk, I knew I didn't want to do that. And I was thinking, I'm like, you know, how can I be like a hypocrite? Like, how can I be chowing down on pasta with some cheese on top, Parmesan, and then if he wants some, to know it's not good for him, and to not let him have it? That you lead by example. You know, I'm a big believer in your kids. You can preach all day long about how this isn't right and that's not right, but if you're doing it, they're more likely to do it. And if you're not doing it and you're leading by example, I feel like kids are smart and they love their parents, and they'll naturally catch on to that and want to do it more because their parents are. So I don't know, I always felt guilty. My 3-year-old at the time, when he would go to Nana's, or just in general, you know, have cheese, or my husband would say, hey, can you have cheese on this? Like, I always felt guilty. Like, it was just so weird, you know, and I think that came from a year of being vegan, and knowing it wasn't the good stuff, knowing it wasn't good for you, and knowing about the cruelty that was behind it. I always deep down hated myself for letting him indulge in stuff like that, at least providing it in our household to him. So I knew right then, in the middle of my pregnancy, thinking about it, I was like, I just gotta rip off the Band-Aid. I know this is something that's the right thing to do, so I'm gonna do it, and we're gonna be better. And it starts with me, you know, the mom in the house. So long story short, I decided to go vegan, whether that's good or not. Obviously my baby's totally perfectly healthy and loves life and loves food. So it was halfway through my pregnancy, I decided to, you know, cut out the dairy, cut out the meat, and I did it. And I didn't really eat or indulge in any of those things for the rest of my pregnancy, and until this day. So it's been about a while now, I would say 6 months, that I haven't had anything as far as animal products is concerned. And like I knew it would happen, I feel amazing. My fitness, I feel like, considering I've kind of enjoyed being a new mom again, so to speak, I haven't trained as hard just because I'm still breastfeeding and I don't want to push my body too much. For where I'm at fitness wise, my fitness is great. I worked out throughout my pregnancy, obviously that helps, but I feel a difference. I feel a huge difference in my performance. So if we're just talking about performance-wise, veganism, plant-based nutrition, for the recovery, for the fuel, for, your cardiovascular fitness, like, for just staying leaner and just not holding on to excess, water weight, body fat, you feel lighter, you feel quicker, you're, cognitively, you feel clearer. And that's just the health end of it. I notice that I don't get as sore after workouts. I don't take too long to bounce back. That includes lifting, cardio, things. Cardio is like trail running. I like to cycle, trail run, and then and run in general, road run too. I like to hike. I lift weights here and there, yoga, that kind of thing. Those are the things that I'm into, and all of those have been great. So as far as breastfeeding, my milk supply has always been amazing. You know, I don't think I've been sick since before I was pregnant, which now that I think about it is a long time for me. I don't get sick anymore. My son, I don't know if it has anything to do with it. He's been in kids club at the gym and everything, and he hasn't gotten sick yet, knock on wood. He's going on 7 months. You know, and my milk obviously goes into him and he gets what I eat. So, yeah, I mean, as far as health goes, I feel great. Not to mention ethically, I feel even better. You know, I know that sustainability wise, I'm doing my part as much as I can. You know, diet is, obviously you can get crazy. You can make sure that, you know, you're limiting the water usage, you're not using plastic, which I'm using a reusable water bottle, so I'm getting on that no plastic train there. But there's so much we can be doing to help the environment. But if you haven't seen the documentaries, Cowspiracy, you know, Forks Over Knives, like I mentioned, Dominion's a great one, Earthlings is another crazy one if you want a tearjerker, but a great documentary. It'll teach you that the most beneficial thing for the environment, sustainability-wise, contribution you can make is through your diet. You know, choosing to opt out of all animal products is so huge for the environment, so huge for the animals, and you know, we are in a, so to speak, animal holocaust right now. If you guys aren't aware of the horrible things going on, it's just devastating, and we're better than that. And my thing is once you know better, you should do better. And as human beings, you know, we're the top of the food chain, yes, but because we're cognitively so much, in my opinion, in a lot of ways more intelligent, that gives us more of a responsibility to do the right thing. And, you know, yeah, like I said, we can just, that's a whole other video. I mean, we can go into depth and talk about my beliefs on that. It's a deep, deep, deep topic for me. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I went vegan for all those, kind of rambled a little bit, but I'm vegan now. I'm doing great. I'm alive. I'm not protein deficient. Supplements, I take a B12 supplement, not because you can't naturally find B12 in a plant-based diet. You used to be able to a long time ago, at least that's from the research that I've done and the doctors that I've looked on their website and their articles and their audios and their podcasts. They say that, you know, it used to be in the soil, plants grew in the soil. Because we have just demolished this earth's soil from agricultural and other reasons, other ways of demolishing the soil, B12 no longer naturally exists. You know, even if you eat beef or animals raised in a factory farm or just raised in general on the land, a lot of the times they supplement these things into the animal. They actually give them these supplements to make sure that they carry it. So the fact of you can only get B12 in an animal-based diet is incorrect. That's not actually the truth. We've kind of destroyed that B12 natural resource on our own. So now, I mean, a lot of meat eaters are actually B12 deficient. So, fact. So that's what I supplement with. Another thing, I like to supplement D3, sun exposure, unless you're getting it like really regularly. D3 is really important for your immune system. And then also I like to take taurine. That's just something that, as a strictly vegan diet, is really important. So I do that. Those are my 3 go-tos. I also have some occasional like performance supplements that I like to use occasionally. But as far as nutrition goes, I just get my micronutrients in every day. Make sure I get my omega-3s, omega-6s, flax seeds, chia seeds are great. I can do some like cooking videos. I'm not like a chef or anything, but I mean, I like what I make, so that's good enough for me if you guys are ever interested in those videos. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see your comments. If any of you are thinking about going vegan or are vegan, it'd be cool to link up and just to kind of swap stories and information. I'm always learning. I'm not perfect, but I feel like what I've been doing has been working really good for my family and I. Now all 3 of us are vegan, so all 4 of us. The little guy is already on his plant-based game with his smoothies. So yeah, but thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it helped you out.